4. And Portage just came off of a overtime victory over the Blue Indians of Lake Central. We'll talk a little bit about that game, and we'll also preview the upcoming game against Merrillville. So Joe, let's start off with Lake Central. What did you see out of Portage in that Lake Central game?
All right, Portage basically had a hard time running the ball. Yeah, they ended up with 220-something yards rushing. That all, 77 yards came on one big run from Dixon. Penalties really hurt the Indians. 6 penalties of 40 yards. 2 crucial holding penalties on Portage. That hurts a lot. Passing the ball, 6 of 13. Got to improve on the completion rating there. 6 of 13 is not going to get the job done. Only 77 yards. Come on, man.
Well, yeah, it's like I think these teams are starting to kind of catch on to this offense a little bit. And I think Portage is starting to become a little bit predictable, and they're running a lot of those jet sweeps, and they're kind of trying to mix up the run game here. But I mean, they're not keeping defenses honest enough. They're not throwing the football enough, and I think they need to up that. Let's try throwing 20, 22 passes. Let's try to up the pass ratio here. Try to run maybe more of a true spread offense. I think if Portage is able to start coming out throwing the football, they can start using the pass to set up the run, because it's just not working right now. They're just struggling too much offensively. They're not moving the ball consistently.
I think one thing is they're not getting Dixon involved enough in both assets of his game. He can run the ball, but he's even a better receiver, as we know. Why not use them more? Spread him out too. Using some maybe like a bubble screen. Throw him on a route. Let him go deep. Let him go get it. Match him up one-on-one, put trips right, Dixon by himself over here. He's going to have, if he doesn't have one-on-one coverage, then everyone on the right side is going to have one-on-one. And with those receivers, this is the best receiving core probably in the area. Every single player on this starting for wide receiver Portage would probably be the #1 receiver almost anywhere in this area.
And so one thing you have to think about, most of these defenses around here, these are defenses with a lot of big guys. They're not particularly quick, but they're big, and they're geared towards stopping the run. And no team in this area is going to have the players to match up with all these guys on the outside. Nobody is. And if you were to use Dixon more as a receiver, and Portage starts running the offense that Coach Flaws was running down to Harrison last year, this team would be unstoppable. I think they need to develop Houston more as a passer, because ultimately, if Houston can't throw the ball effectively, Portage won't go anymore in sectionals. Because you got to remember something, Lake Central, they're an okay team. They're going to be facing a lot better defenses than Lake Central in the coming weeks.
Okay, I think one player that also need to get involved more in the passing game, Alvin Best. This kid's starting to show he's a true playmaker in the area. I mean, he's stepping up his game to the next level from what he was as a sophomore. I coached this kid as a freshman. I knew this kid is legit. He's the real deal. He's faster than probably any corner out there.
I know you were talking about, you wanted to see him get moved up his freshman year.
Yeah, I absolutely thought he could start varsity his freshman year. This kid he's unreal. He's like Randy Moss, baby. He would have had that touchdown against St. Rita if Houston only would have threw the ball. He had the corner easily burned by 3 to 5 yards. He had another big touchdown catch against Lake Central. That's 3 touchdowns on the year for Best. But yeah, include him more in the passing game. Throw those short routes to him. Let him do work. I think he's a weapon with the ball in his hands. So JT, as we're talking about this, let's bring on, what are the keys to the game against the Pirates?
Well, we saw Merrillville play Crown Point in person last week. Their offense didn't look particularly good. Their offensive line, they're very much undersized. They struggled. Their quarterback was Popovich. He was getting hit a ton in this game.
I am surprised he actually lasted the whole game. I think he took 5 or 6 big hits from those Crown Point defenders.
Their special teams, kept them in the game. They blocked the field goal, took it all the way back for a touchdown. But I think you got to give a lot of credit to Popovich in the end, because he stood in there, he took some big hits, he led them on a game-winning drive, and I think he's kind of showed that he has really matured as a quarterback. He's really grown up. So Portage has got to find a way to stop him. I think they're going to do a number against Merrillville's run game. I think most of the teams in the area are going to do a number against that run game, because that offensive line is just not very good.
I don't think the receivers, they had one, Preston Parker, I believe his name is, number 14 out there from Merrillville.
Yeah,
that kid was the only legitimate playmaker at wide receiver last year.
And whoever, I don't remember I mean, they don't have, the receivers aren't the greatest. I mean, yeah, that one kid, that Parker, he made a few plays. He's got some speed. He's a burner. But yeah, Merrillville's got to throw the football, and Portage, I think they need to do a good job trying to get more pressure on, trying to get some more hits on, like Crown Point did, with their defense. And let's get off to a good start. You can't come out fumbling the ball, getting all kinds of penalties, beating yourselves. Portage you can't beat yourselves in this game. You got the home field, but if you beat yourselves, this is the kind of game I can see Portage winning in a close one, but I can also see them losing by 3 scores.
Yeah. If they turn the ball over, fumbles, penalties, that's going to kill this team. And Merrillville will capitalize somehow on this team. Defensively, I agree with you. Pressure the quarterback. They're going to have a lot of good, easy time getting to that quarterback, just like Crown Point did. Tristan Pierman stepping up, having a great season. I believe he's got 3 sacks now. He had a huge sack in overtime last week against Lake Central. He's going to be going against a very bad offensive line. Look for Pierman and Pride to have a very good game on Friday night. Now, offensively, what do the Indians got to do?
Well, this is the one game where I think they might have some success doing what they've been doing, because I think they do have a decisive advantage up front. Maybe not up the gut, because I think Matt Neal might have something to say.
They got Matt Neal, and they also had another kid. I don't know his name.
LaChapelle Bradley.
He's a defensive end. The defensive end, they're going to have a hard time. I think Pat Doyle and Joey Little are going to have a tough time stopping LaChapelle Show Bradley. But their nose tackle, he's a big 310-pound boy. He's huge.
Yeah.
So he runs with the gun. Matt Neal, the big boy right there.
Yeah.
They're gonna have something to say. And LaChapelle
Bradley.
They're gonna have a lot of trouble stopping them guys up front for. But linebackers, they didn't impress me too much.
Yeah, the linebackers are extremely undersized. You got 180-pound guys playing linebacker. This is where Portage might be able to get to the edge, because on these jet sweeps, you're depending on your receivers to make good blocks on linebackers. Even as quick as Rashawn Coleman is, if guys like Alvin Best and Kevin Hinkle can't hold their blocks, those plays aren't going to go anywhere. But I think they also showed they're a little bit vulnerable. In the past game. Remember Austin Atherton for Crown Point? I mean, he was killing them last week.
He was dominating that game. If he didn't get hurt at Crown Point, we'd be talking a different story in that ball game.
Yeah, so I mean, let's line up Alvin out there. Let's motion Dixon out there to the edge. Let him run some fade routes or post routes. Get him some one-on-one matchups, because Atherton showed he can make some plays in man coverage, and let's try to spread the field a little bit more. But I think Portage has the potential to get some big plays.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Atherton's a good player, but I still don't think he's nearly as good as Dixon or Best is for the Portage Indians.
Well, and we'll see what Portage does offensively. They need to get off to a better start. Let's see them. Their first drive, their first possession of the game. Let's see them take that possession down, score a touchdown, put some pressure on Merrillville early in the game.
All right, let's go to the matchup here. The Owls Tire matchup of the week right here. All right, offensively. Portage, they struggled against Lake Central, struggled to really get anything going against St. Rita. A lot of penalties, jet sweeps aren't working. Merrillville, same thing. Their offensive line is just god awful. They're getting their quarterback killed.
But there's a big difference. Merrillville, much better quarterback play right now.
Yeah, Merrillville has got probably the best quarterback in the DAC. Portage has the best player in Dixon, but Merrillville has the best running back in Pierce. I give Merrillville the edge on offense. Defensively, we're talking about Merrillville defense didn't look that good. Their front four, they had 3 outstanding players. They had one big guy that clogs the run. Matt Neal, he could rush the passer and he could stop the run. And Bradley, a great pass rusher. Portage, they stepped up their game huge in the second half when they needed it. That Portage fight never died. That really showed in the third and fourth quarters of that game. They shut down a really good running back at St. Rita, and they completely blanked Mishawaka Marion. Edge goes to Portage on defense. Special teams. I don't understand. Year in, year out, Merrillville always has one of the most elite kickers in the DAC. So this game comes down to the defense.
But it wasn't really him that did the job. They got in there, blocked the kick. I mean, they blocked the punt. I think they got their hands on 2 punts.
Yeah, they blocked a field goal and a few punts that really turned the game. I think big edge to Merrillville on special teams. Intangibles. Let's go to intangibles. Portage, They coming off a tough, very tough win that they could have actually lost the game against a mediocre Lake Central team. Merrillville, they're coming off a win, a huge win against a Crown Point team that was probably a better overall team than them. And JT, let me tell you something. What happens after big wins?
Well, a lot of times you see a big letdown.
And I believe that's what we're going to see Friday night. Portage gets the check mark in intangibles. I think we're going to see a Portage 20, Merrillville 17 score.
Well, let's hope Portage can do that. And one big advantage they have is playing this game at home. If you go back to the last time Portage beat Merrillville, it was 2 years ago after Warpath. This is a type of game, and this is definitely, after Merrillville struggled so much just to beat Crown Point. Yeah, you might see a big letdown. Let's see. Hopefully Portage was looking ahead last week. Let's hope they were looking ahead and looking more to this game. And let's hope they have a little bit better game plan going in there.
Let's hope they're playing down to their competition and now they play up to the competition here and step up in a big win.
All right. Well, good luck, Portage. Let's see if we can get it done this week. See if we can get it done and get to 3-1 in the season. Because they got a tough stretch coming up. So this is just the start. So let's start off with a W. I guess that's it for us. So.